Picture this for a second. You are 65 years old. You've busted your back your entire life, put in the long hours, and done everything society said you were supposed to do. And yet, you're still tossing and turning at night, profoundly stressed about money. You're constantly checking your balance, terrified of an emergency, wondering if you'll ever actually get to rest. If just thinking about that gives you a pit in your stomach, I want you to know right out of the gate, you are absolutely not alone. So many people are terrified of this exact scenario because from a very young age, we've been conditioned to believe that money is this incredibly complex, unsolvable puzzle. But here is the massive, liberating secret they really don't want you to know. Money is absolutely not complicated. Seriously, the financial industry just presents it as this big, scary thing because they want to sell you their products. They want you feeling so overwhelmed that you'll just hand over exorbitant fees and rely on their expertise. But once you strip away all the jargon and the fluff, building wealth comes down to a few incredibly simple truths. Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're hanging out with us today. Over the next few minutes, we are going to completely demystify wealth. I'm going to hand you the core rules of money, the precise concepts that take most people a lifetime of painful trial and error to finally figure out. And I promise you, if you start applying these principles today, you're going to completely change the trajectory of your financial future. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's jump in. Section 1, the Great Money Myth, which leads us directly into Section 2, time, inflation, and interest. So, the greatest money myth out there is that stuffing your cash under a mattress is the responsible, safe thing to do. It's not. The deceptively simple foundation of all finance is this: a dollar today is worth way more than a dollar tomorrow. Why? Because of this invisible force called inflation. Think of inflation as the silent killer of your wealth. It's literally a hidden tax on your cash. Decades ago, you could buy a loaf of bread for a few pennies. Today, that exact same loaf costs maybe $2.50. The bread didn't magically get more delicious, right? Your money just got fundamentally weaker. Inflation slowly eats away at what your cash can actually buy. If your money is just sitting around, it is literally shrinking in value. Now, if inflation is a slow leak in your tire, draining your purchasing power, compound interest is the high-powered engine that propels you forward. It's the ultimate antidote to inflation, and honestly, the single greatest superpower you have in finance. This concept is so mathematically wild that Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. That is some serious praise for a math formula. He supposedly added that those who understand it earn it, and those who don't pay it. We definitely want you on the earning side of that equation. Let's look at how this builds because it's super straightforward. Say you start with $100 and get a 10% return. End of the year, you've got $110. That's simple interest. But year 2? This is where the magic kicks in. You don't just earn 10% on that original 100 anymore. You earn 10% on the new total of 110. So now you're making $11 instead of 10. Your money is out there making its own money. Time is the ultimate catalyst here. The longer you let it roll, the bigger that snowball gets. Moving right along to Section 3, the risk and reward ladder. Now you might be asking, how do I actually get those returns? It all comes down to the fundamental trade-off of the financial world. Look at regular savings accounts. The risk is basically zero, your money is insured, but the reward is tiny, maybe 3%. Remembering our friend inflation, playing it perfectly safe guarantees you will actually lose purchasing power in the long run. Then you've got bonds, medium risk, lending money to a company or the government for maybe a 5% reward. And finally, stocks. You're taking a high risk by buying a piece of a company, but historically, you get a much higher reward of around 8 to 10%. When we look at long-term historical returns, stocks clearly crush the other options. Are they volatile? Absolutely. The market can totally tank on a random Tuesday. But the secret isn't trying to outsmart a random Tuesday, it's playing the long game. Over any 20-year period in the last century, the stock market has historically gone up. You just have to take calculated long-term risks if you ever want your money to outpace inflation. All right, Section 4, budgets, shields, and debt. Listen, understanding compound interest is fantastic, but it's completely useless if you don't have a dime left to invest at the end of the month. You need a plan. People hear the word budget and instantly think, great, I can never buy an iced coffee again. Scratch that. A budget is just you actively bossing your money around, telling it exactly where to go. The easiest framework out there is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% covers your absolute needs, rent, groceries, keeping the lights on. 30% is for your wants, going out, your streaming services, the fun stuff. And that remaining 20%, that is non-negotiable. It's strictly for savings and destroying debt. That 20% is literally buying your future. But before you throw all of that 20% into the stock market, you absolutely must build an emergency fund shield. You need 3 to 6 months of those essential expenses sitting in boring, easily accessible cash. Why? Because life is messy. The car breaks down, the roof leaks, layoffs happen. If you don't have this cash shield ready, those everyday emergencies instantly turn into toxic high-interest debt. And speaking of that trap, take a look at this absolutely terrifying number, 25%. This is the kind of massive interest rate you see slapped onto credit cards or payday loans. Remember how much we loved compound interest when it was growing our wealth at 8 to 10%? Well, this is compound interest aggressively working against you. We have to draw a really clear line here between good debt and bad debt. Debt isn't always a reasonable student loan can boost your earning potential for life. That's good debt. But credit cards, payday loans, that is bad debt. You are borrowing money at insane rates to buy things that instantly lose value. It's a total wealth destroyer. So here's the bottom line on this. If your investments are earning an optimistic 8% in the market, but you're carrying credit card debt that's charging you 25%, you are mathematically losing money every single day. You are bleeding cash faster than you can earn it. That means ruthlessly killing off that bad debt is the single best, guaranteed, tax-free return you will ever get. Wipe out the high-interest monster first. Finally, Section 5, buying back your time. We've covered the mechanics, the budgets, the risk, the debt, but this right here is the major perspective shift. When we talk about investing, we aren't doing it just to hoard cash or hit a high score on a banking app. Investing equals buying time. Financial freedom isn't about necessarily becoming a billionaire on a yacht. It's about buying the freedoms to choose. Having the time to travel, the time to be truly present with your family without checking work emails, the absolute peace of mind to sleep through the night, the tool you use to carve out the exact life you want to live. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge right now. Do not just let this be another explainer that you passively scroll past. What is one small action you are going to take today to start buying back your time? Are you going to log in and finally face your spending habits? Are you going to bump up your 401k contribution by just a single percent? The best time to start was decades ago, but the second best time, it's right now. Take this step. And hey, if you found this analysis empowering, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our future explainers. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and go take control of your time.